reading The Butter Battle book by Dr. Seuss. The Butter Battle book by Dr. Seuss. For Audrey with love. On the last day of summer, 10 hours before fall, my grandfather took me out to the wall. For a while he stood silent. Then finally he said, with a very sad shake, of his very old head, "As you know, on this side of the wall, we are Yooks. On the far other side of this wall live the Zooks." Then my grandfather said, "It's high time that you knew of the terrible thing that Zooks do. In every Zook house, in every Zook town, every Zook eats his bread with the butter side down." But we Yooks, as you know, when breakfast or sup, spread our bread, Grandpa said, with the butter side up. "That's the right, honest way." Grandpa gritted his teeth. "So you can't trust a Zook who spreads butter underneath. Every Zook must be watched. He has kinks in his soul. That's why, as a youth, I made watching my goal, watching Zooks for the Zook, watching Border Patrol." In those days, of course, the wall wasn't so high, and I could look any Zook square in the eye. If he dared to come close, I could give him a twitch with my tuft, prickly snickberry switch. For, for a while that worked fine. All the Zooks stayed away, and our country was safe. Then one terrible day, a very rude Zook, by the name of Vanitch, snuck up and slingshotted my snickberry switch. With my broken off switch, with my head hung in shame, to the chief Zookaroo in great sorrow I came. But our leader just smiled. He said, "You're not to blame, and those Zooks will be sorry they started this game. We'll dress we'll dress you up right up in a fancier suit. We'll give you a fancier slingshot to shoot." And he ordered the boys in the back room to figure how to build me some sort of triple sling jigger. With my triple sling jigger, I sure felt much bigger. I marched I marched to the wall with great zim and great vigor, right up to Zenich with my hand on the trigger. "I'll have no more nonsense," I said with a frown, "from Zooks who eat bread with the butter side down." Vanitch looked quite sickly. He ran off quite quickly. I'm happy to say He came back the next day in a spiffy new suit with a big new machine, and he snarled as he said, looking frightfully mean, "You may fling those hard rocks with your triple sling jigger, but I also now have my hand on the trigger. My wonderful weapon, the jigger rock snitchin', will fling 'em right back just as quick as we catch 'em. We'll have no more nonsense, we'll take no more gup from you zooks who eat bread with the butter side up." "I have failed, sir," I sobbed as I made my report to Chief Zickaroo in the headquarters fort. He just laughed. "You've done nothing at all of the sort. Our slingshots have failed, and was old-fashioned stuff. Slingshots, dear boy, are not modern enough. All we need is some new-fangled kind of gun. My boys in the back room have already begun to think up a walloping, whiz-zinger, walloping, whiz-zinger one. My bright boys are thinking they're on the right track. They'll think one up quick and will send you right back." They thought up a great one, they certainly did. They thought up a gun called the Kickapoo Kid, which they loaded with powerful Purdue powder and ants' eggs and bees' legs and dried fried clam chowder. And they carefully trained a real smart dog named Daniel to serve as our country's first gun-toting spaniel. Well, he didn't do, and we didn't quite die, but we sure did get worsted, poor Daniel and I. Venus was there too, and he said, the old pig, "The boys in my back room invented this rig, called the eight-nozzled elephant-toted boom blitz, to shoot. It shoots high explosive sour cherry stone pits and will put your dumb Kickapoo kid on the fritz." Poor Daniel and I were scared out of our wits. Once more by Vinich I was bested and beat. Once again I limped home from the wall in defeat. I dragged and I sagged, and my spirits were low as I thought that they ever could go, when I heard a boom-ba and a diddle-dee-dill, and our butter-up band marched up over the hill. The chief Zickaroo had sent them to meet me, along with the right side up song girls to greet me. They sang, "Oh, be faithful, Bliss, believe in the butter," and they lifted my spirits right out of the gutter. "My boy," smiled the chief Yuckaroo, "we're just voted and make you a general. You've been promoted. Your pretty new uniform's ready. Get in it. And big what is coming, you're going to begin it. Big war. The big war is coming, you're going to begin it. And what's more, this time, you are certain to win it. My boys in the back room have finally found how. Just wait till you see what they've puttered up now. In their great new machine, you'll fly over the wall and clobber those buttered down zooks one and all. These these boys in the back room sure knew how to putter. They made me a thing called an utterly sputter, and I jumped aboard with my heart all aflutter, and steered toward the land of the upside down butter. This machine was modern, was so modern, so frightfully new. No one knew quite exactly just what to do, but it had several facets that sprinkled blue goo, which somehow would sprinkle the zooks as I flew, and gum up their upside down butter they chew. I was racing pell mell when I heard a voice yell, "If you sprinkle us zooks, you'll get sprinkled as well." Vinich had a sputter exactly like mine, and he yelled, "My blue gooer is working just fine, and I'm here to say that if yooks can goo zooks, you'd better forget, you'd better forget it, 'cause zooks can goo yooks." I flew right back home, and as you may have guessed, I was downright despondent, disturbed, and depressed. And I saw just as soon as I stepped back on land, so were all of the girls of the Butter Up band. The chief drum Merete, Ms. Yuki Ann Sue, said that that was a pretty sour flight that you flew, and the chief Yukaru has been looking for you. I raced to his office. The place was a sight. "Have no fears," said the chief. "Everything is all right. My bright back room boys have been brighter than bright. They've thought up a gadget that's newer than new. It is filled with mysterious moolakamoo and can blow all those zooks clear to Sala Magoo. They've invented the Bitsy, Big Boy Roo Roomaroo Roomaroo. You just run to the wall like a nice little man. Drop the bomb on the zooks just as fast as you can. I have ordered all yooks to stay safe underground while the Bitsy Big Boy Boomaroo is around." Copyist, secretist, brain nest. As I raced for that wall with the bomb in my hand, I noticed that every last yook in our land was obeying our chief Yookaroo's grim command. They were they were all bravely marching with banners aflutter down to a hole for their country, and right side up butter. That's when grandfather found me. He grabbed me. He said, "You should be down that hole, and you're up here instead. But perhaps this is all for the better. Somehow you will see me make history right here, right now." Grandpa, say, Grandpa kept up that wall. Crept? Oh man. Grandpa kept up. I'm having some trouble. Grandpa kept up the wall with a lupulous leap. I don't know why I'm having so much trouble on this page. And he cleared his hoarse throat with a populous beep. He screamed, "Here's the end of that terrible town, full of zooks who eat butter with bread with the butter side down." And 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 at that very instant we heard a clup clup of feet on the wall, and old Zanich clumped up. The boys in his back room had made him one too. In his fort, in his fist was another big boy baroo. "I'll blow you," he yelled, "into pork and wee beans. I'll butter side up you to small smithereens." Grandpa shouted, "Be careful! Oh, gee! Who's going to drop it? Will you or will he?" "Be patient," said Grandpa. We'll see, we will see." The end. I wonder who will drop it. I guess we won't see. Oh well. Let me just double check and make sure that's the end. Yeah. The end.